Hey guys, I'm Kari. This time I introduce the tier list of RTS LD5 only. In the previous video, I introduced the G to C ranks. So this time I'll introduce the B to SSS ranks. The monsters introduced in this video are monsters that are used very frequently in RTA. And if you have them, you'll be able to raise your RTA rank. If you have them, you may be able to reach your target rank by building a team around them. As before, I will introduce about 3 to 4 monsters of each rank. It would take a very long time to introduce all the monsters. If I didn't introduce a monster you are interested in, please let me know in the comments. I will reply with my evaluation. And please note that this tier list is based on my rating on turn 2. So it may be different from other players' list results. Maybe your rank and my rank are very different. Okay, let's start this video. First, rank B. About Dark Nezuko. This monster acts like a Mukwo and can grant 3 turns of immunity to all allies. In addition, it's often used in tournament teams because she can remove all buff of the opponents and attack with all allies. However, due to a recent nerf, her skill 3 cooltime is no longer decreased and has been slightly weakened. Nevertheless, it still has many users in RTA and is one of the most powerful monsters. In addition, it's not simply an attacking skill, and its 3-turn immunity makes it harder to counter. If you have a strong sweeper, it's not a problem. But for teams using defense break skill without it, it became difficult to win. About Patel. This monster is very powerful against opponents with skills that stun them. Using him against monster with Giana or Despair Rune set can give you an advantage. However, he is weak against opponents with skill cooltime increase skill, and you need to be careful because you will not be able to use skill 3. It's not recommended to use him against recent commonly used monsters such as Oliver and Sagar. Nevertheless, since he is effective against stun-driven party opponents, and his users can be found in all ranks, so he is classified as B rank. About Dark Zenitsu, DS collaboration monster, his recent addition, but this time I rank him B. The Wind is said to be the strongest in the Zenith series, and is valued for his ability to nullify damage and heal when knocked down. The Dark Zenitsu doesn't have that passive, but it has excellent passive skills and skill 1 damage. Also, since it's dark, it has no weak attributes and can consistently inflict large damage on opponents. Therefore, it has a certain amount of use in RTA, and it's noted as a monster with a high damage dealer. If the opponent's monster is under defense break, it's possible to inflict almost 20k damage with skill 1 in the early stages, which makes the attack very dangerous, especially when Leo is banned. If your opponents use him, you need to be very careful. Next, A rank. About Valantis. This monster that has been consistently good at countering for some time now. You can use him in turn 1 or turn 2. Basically, he is built with Despair, so if he uses skill 3 or skill 2, the monsters on the other team are often stuck. He can also provoke and miss, making him difficult to counter without support monsters like Tetra or Belamos. However, he is not a damage dealer himself, so you need to consider the balance of your team. Also, he is not very strong against Jose and Heigan, so if you want to use him, you need to use him with a damage dealer who can beat them. About Nikki, I ranked her A this time. She used to be ranked SS or S, but recently in RTA, there are not as many players using her as before. Her skill 3 was nerfed a while ago, and that seems to have a big impact. I don't think it was a big nerf, but it might not be so much for the users who are using her. However, there are still many players using her at all ranks, so it's possible that her evolution will be raised against in the future. About Eleanor, she is a very dangerous monster, often used in Turn 1 and one-shot teams. Using skill 2 can give a lot of debuff to the opponent, and using skill 3 can use powerful skills in a row. It can be more powerful than Ganymede when used on monsters with short skill cooltime. For example, by using this skill against Federica or Daphnis, they can use skill 3 in a row. In that case, no monster can withstand this attack, so she's a monster that is often banned. However, there are not that many players who use her, so she's ranked A. Next, rank S. About Seimei, she's a very powerful monster in recent RTA, and I want her too. She possesses powerful buffs such as Shizuka, Belajuel, and Kobalchi, which are highly rated in RTA to one turn. She is excellent as a support monster because she heals greatly when there is a debuff on her allied monsters. If you don't have a strong damage dealer, you may not be able to defeat your opponent's monster. I often use Belajuel as my first pick, but if my opponent uses her, my team will not be stable. For example, it's easy to be affected by the skill 2 effect of monsters like Nana. Also, the debuff that usually lasts for 2 turns will only last for 1 turn, which can create a situation where you can't beat them. It also has a strong recovery, making it difficult to defeat a monster with not strong damage dealer. I ranked her S because it's possible to use her in both turn 1 and turn 2, and there are many matches where she is used. About Gapso. Gapso remains a powerful monster this season. He was nerfed before, but his skill 3 passive is still effective in many situations, so many players are using him. I use him as much as ever. He is especially used in combination with Ragdoll, and is a very good recovery supporter. He can remove and recover, and his own gauge increases when the opponent recovers, so it's easy to get a turn right away. Therefore, using him can give you an advantage in a long battle. I gave him S rank because he's a monster used in both turn 1 and turn 2, and is used very frequently. About Light Gojo. This monster has rapidly increased in evolution and is now ranked S. Perhaps some people might rank him even higher. I don't think I'd have included him if I made this list before, but there are so many players using him this season. He is a monster that can be used in RTA because he has Speed Reader, and he is also a stripper and supporter. It's often used in turn 1 and is generally ruined with Violent or Despair. When ruined with Despair, he can remove buff from the opponents and stun them, making it very annoying. Also, be aware that if you leave the other monster debuffed, the damage of skill 3 will increase and you may get a lot of damage. Next, S rank. About Doman. A very strong monster against turn 2 teams, difficult to counter and often a ban target. The Curse of Death skill is very powerful, and if not handled properly, will almost certainly result in defeat. There are several ways to counteract it, but they often don't work. For example, there are ways to avoid it by putting up a shield with Angela, or cancelling the curse with Irene. But depending on the opponent's team, it can be difficult to deal with. Therefore, this monster has S rank. About Light Hacker. A monster that has increased rapidly this season. More players using after he was used in SWC. Combined with Stripper, it has strong synergy with other monsters that AoE skills. For example, his combination with Jonnam is famous these days. When debuffed perfectly, it becomes almost impossible to counter, and furthermore, its gauge reduction and suppression effects make it difficult to counter if it can't be removed. Be careful, because his skill will eliminate the effect of resistance. A monster powerful enough to be placed in the highest ranks by some players, and is often a ban target. Depending on the usage rate this season, he may be rated at Triple S rank next season. About Julian. Nerfed a while ago, but still a very powerful monster. Using Leo can reduce the amount of damage he does, but he is still a very powerful damage dealer. Nowadays, it's possible to defeat him by using Wind Zenitsu. It becomes very difficult to defeat him. He can be used in both turn 1 and turn 2, and there are many players who use him, so I ranked him as SS. Last, Triple S rank. I have chosen these 4 as Triple S ranks, but I don't think there is much difference in strength between them and SS rank monsters these days. The balance of the strength of LD monsters has been adjusted by BP recently, so it depends on what kind of team we use them in to decide whether they are Triple S rank or not. Ragdoll was weakened by the last BP, but the effect of increasing the gauge has not changed, so I think it's still very powerful in RTA. However, the effect of reducing damage has been weakened, so we need to be careful about attacks by monsters with defense ignore, for example. The evolution of Tianran has not changed. He can be used by both turn 1 and turn 2 teams. I think he should be ranked Triple S, because he has such a strong passive that some opposing teams may lose when he doesn't ban him. As for Diana, she has been nerfed a little, but she is still used by many players. She is still rated as Triple S, and I think there are many games that we can lose if we don't ban her. However, the number of players using Sarah, Diana, Chibara, Shizuka teams that used to be common seems to be decreasing a little. As for Nef, I ranked her Triple S this time, but next time she may be ranked SS. It's true that her skill 3 is powerful, but it seems that there are not as many players using her as before. If she works in turn 1 team, she is very powerful, but if I see more of such scenes in the future, I think she'll be ranked Triple S again next time. So this time I introduced monsters from B to Triple S rank. If this video is well received, I may post another tier list video next time. If you have a tier list you'd like to see, please leave a request in the comment. See you in the next time.